that felt good, because now I'm getting dangerously close over here.
Oh, the capstone enters the game.
Oh, that's great. This is a very precious moment to me. Tack is secretly, low-key, no lie, the very best board game I've ever experienced. This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com/rogue. Spell it right, R-O-G-U-E. Sign up for a free trial. When you fall in love, get 10% off. Yeah.
We were at Scoop Fest in Las Vegas, and this is all you wanted to do.
Yes, yeah, in the middle of a convention.
There was this huge thing going
backstage
on with our close friends, and Brian, you're like, let's go to your hotel room and play tag. In fact, there were multiple times that I had to say, we should probably make an appearance.
Yes.
Because this game is so good. But the thing that I love about it most, it's not about winning the game.
Yes.
We can play this, we can have conversation, and all we're doing is making sure this game lasts and it's entertaining for both of us, and we're both ending the game as satisfied as possible.
If you play the game right, both parties are standing shoulder to shoulder, both surprised at how it ended.
Yes.
And you could barely remember who won. Now, This is not just a philosophy, this is literally how the game was built from the ground up. So Patrick Rothfuss wrote Name of the Wind, which is an extraordinary book. The Wise Man's Fear is the second in the series. The whole world is waiting for the third, and we're all going to be very patient for my friend Patrick as he writes the third book. But in the second book, The Wise Man's Fear, he needed something that he could use these turns of phrases with, and so he invented the game Tack, not really having an idea of what the game was. Outside of it had stones and roads, and then comes along James Ernest, who says, hey, I want to make Tack. Pat says, nope, you can't. Everyone's tried, can't be done. It's an impossible game. I screwed up. I'm just a silly old author and made up too many rules that are incongruent. Can't happen. And James was like, hold my chessboard. And he came up with this amazingly elegant game. Now, in the narrative of A Wise Man's Fear, our protagonist learns to play Tack, and at first he tries to win, and he just keeps losing. And eventually the Grandmaster gets super annoyed, and he keeps crushing him because he explains that to play Tack is not to engage in a game of victory and defeat. It is to create a beautiful game. And then, of course, he groks it, and eventually it's yet another skill he unlocked. Yes, I crossed my genres. Fantasy and sci-fi. I'm both Team Sword and Team Laser. That's a lot of pressure to design a game as part of a beloved franchise, but also with the rules that you could play, as Patrick told me, street tack, which is competitive. You know, think downtown Manhattan, street hustle and chess, that kind of thing. Let's play Knives Out, basically, on that one. And then there's what Patrick calls courtly tack. And in courtly tack, the goal truly is to create a beautiful game. So unlike chess, where it's touch move and like, no, sorry, you touched it, no backsies, courtly tack is, hey, you want to go back another? You want to go back 2, 3? Or if somebody's about to make a move, you're like, fair warning, my friend. If you do that, I'm applying pressure over here and I intend to win. I think that's a weak move. Now we get into the question of like, are you getting in their head game or whatever, which to me, that all smacks of courtly tack. You're allowed to do that, but it's probably ungentlemanly. Okay, so the rules. Tack is played with a whole bunch of tiles. They're called stones that make roads or walls. There's one player who plays black, there's one player who plays white. The thing that breaks my heart the most is I am missing one tile from my black set.
Yeah, what is this, rosewood?
So the first thing that is beautiful about Tack is that it scales. The more it scales, the more fair it gets. And it scales geometrically. You can play Tack 3 by 3. You can play it 4 by 4. You can play it 5 by 5, 6 by 6, 7 by 7, 8 by 8. You can keep on going out and out and out. Now, the number of tiles that you use depends on the size of the grid that you're playing on. For me, the sweet spot is 5 by 5 or 6 by 6. 5 by 5 you could play in 20, 25 minutes. 6 by 6 tends to be a 45-minute game. So we're gonna play a 5 by 5 game, which means we need 21 tiles apiece. So go ahead and make sure you have 21 tiles.
You did teach this to me, but that was during Scoop Fest, and that all went into RAM, and gone.
First of all, think of this 5 by 5. in terms of north, south, east, west. And there is no right or wrong direction or side. Outside of diagonals don't exist. Everything is orthogonal at all times. And the goal is to essentially complete a circuit from one side to another. So this would be a win condition because it connects east to west from my perspective, and this would be a win condition because it connects north to south, right?
You want to be able to point in the direction of where you're going across the compass. You don't want to go north to east or something like that. That's not a win condition.
Oh, correct, yeah. So if you want to think of this as a game from epic medieval war time or whatever, think of these roads as supply lines. Whoever in this contested arena gets a clear supply line, they're going to be the victor, right? The first rule is every single turn, a player can either place their tile onto an unoccupied spot or move their tile. So every single turn you have to place or move. You know enough to know that you're trying to link one side to the other. So here we go, place, go ahead and place, and then I'll place and actually vaguely try to win. Okay, so in this case, I could either place or I can move. Now, if I wanted to move, I could move out of the way, but I don't know why I would want to do that. I would want to move on top of you. And now, that's still your piece, but I control it. So think of now all of a sudden I think of these as tenants, and this is the supervisor, the guy who owns the tenement or whatever. It's your people, but it's my building. So now on your turn, you have a choice to make. You can only either place or move.
Right. So I could move on top of yours?
That is correct. And at this point, we have a tower, and now we can keep playing. I like to think of this game as a battle between potential energy and realized energy, right? So it's like a lake up in the mountains is potential energy. It becomes actual energy when you put a dam on it and start, leaking stuff out. Kinetic energy. That's what I was thinking of. At this point, it would take 2 moves for me to try to take this, and meanwhile, you could be placing all over the place. So I'm going to just, in my mind, I'm writing this off for now. I'm aware of it, and so I'm going to keep on placing.
Okay.
Let's say I'll do this. Now you have an interesting choice. Let's say you want to place, probably not here, because you know I'll take it, or probably not here, or whatever, but you could place maybe somewhere over here to distract me, or you can move. Now, a tower moves in a very special way. A road tile can only move one way, orthogonally. A tower can also move one way in any direction, including on top of one of your own pieces. The difference is a tower can move any amount from the top, and once it starts moving, it can expend its fuel to keep on moving.
Right.
So think of a rocket, right? A rocket is basically a skyscraper made of solid chemicals, and then once it starts going, it burns itself out from the inside. What I might suggest for you is you would move and then burn fuel to keep going. And you could keep going, but why would you not want to do that?
Well, because then you could take that with
Exactly, right? You'd be teeing me up for something, right?
Right.
So, what did I do? That is a pitfall that I want to point out right now, is going backwards. Memory is very, very bad. And what always happens is somebody wants to take something back, and then the moment they pick up pieces and set them in a different place, it is almost always impossible to know whether or not it was that way or not.
But if we're playing by gentlemen's rules, in theory, we could just come to an agreement of how we like it arranged and go from there.
There are games that 45 minutes in, neither party has been able to remember exactly how it was 2 moves ago, and so we both just agree, well, we're both satisfied with this puzzle, let's keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it would be your turn. You can move or place.
I think I'm going to place. And I can place anywhere on the board, right?
Yeah, any unoccupied place.
Right. So I'm going to do that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know what you're up to, but I don't like it. I don't like how many pieces you got here. I don't like how close to a north-south wind you got. So I'm going to place, but every stone can be placed one of 2 ways. You can place it as a flat or as a wall.
Right.
Nothing can be placed on top of a wall for now.
Right.
I'll explain more later. If it helps at this point, think of a road, and then you've got a giant standing stone, okay? Nothing, you can't build a road on top of a standing stone. But later in the game, if the opportunity presents, you can move a standing stone onto
Right.
a road. So that's my move right there. The important thing about a wall is that it's not quite a road, because if you think of the supply lines, if you think about it being a circuit board or whatever, think of it as non-conductive. Like, I own it and control it, but it doesn't count towards a north-south victory. It is just as much an impediment to me as it is to you, and even worse, I can't just yell at a stone, break, and then lay it down like that.
Right.
It is a stone, except for when you smash the stone.
Okay.
So where do you want to go now? Okay. Again, I'm nervous about what you're up to, so I'm just going to throw up more interference.
Okay.
And now I want to spring a bit of a trap. So instead of putting more potential energy on the board, I'm going to capture yours. It's under my control, and it is non-conductive, but most likely I'm just going to try to start gobbling up stuff.
Right.
Okay, so now this is interesting because I kind of want to do that, but I know that long term it's important to keep putting potential energy on the board.
Right.
Tack. Calling tack is the right thing to do in a courtly game of tack. It is a courtesy. In street tack, you are not required to call tack.
Right.
It is a courtesy in courtly tack to essentially say, unless you take some kind of action, my next move will win the game for me.
Right. So I'm going to put a wall up.
That's good. Okay.
I throw you off there.
And then I'll just keep on playing. Tack.
Put me back in tack again.
Because I almost have a circuit.
But I could move my wall here.
That's correct.
And that prevents you from getting tack in this direction as well.
That is correct. Tack.
I can't place a wall on the thing.
That's right, and it's very tempting. You want to. Again, we have a bunch of very simple binary rules that all add up to something really big and interesting.
Tack.
All right.
So, if... Oh, nope.
I could suggest something interesting.
Yeah.
If you were to do this, you would call tack, because I'd be one away from real trouble. In fact, maybe that would be the most interesting thing to try.
So I do that, and
so you would call tack, because you are one placement away from completing the circuit.
So,
now,
tack.
At this point, I could drop another wall, which would buy me a turn or so, but to be honest, I'm really miffed at all these walls that you got, so I'm going to bring out my very special stone, the capstone. Most beginners, this is what Patrick told me, and I'm sure the professional tack players have different opinions. He says, in general, people tend to bring their capstone out too early. But remember when I said nothing can go on top of a wall? The capstone is the only exception. Now, I can't just take it out and smash a wall. Why?
You can only place it on unoccupied space.
Right. So what I want to do is I want to both begin to threaten these and prevent you
from
completing the circuit.
Interesting. Very interesting. Tack.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good. All right, well then.
Okay, so now I'm going to bring my capstone into play.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, because once you start chomping on these, then all of a sudden my walls aren't very effective. Okay, so I'm going to place here because now you're at least 2 moves away from going back in attack.
Right. Also, if I'm not mistaken, we can't balance anything on top of these.
Nothing.
So I can't take your capstone.
Nothing. Correct, yeah. A capstone can smash a wall into a road. Again, imagine a standing stone that you can pound it into gravel and then use that gravel to make a road.
Right.
But you can't assemble a bunch of gravel and call it a standing stone.
But this also does count as one of my road pieces when it's...
That is correct. It is conductive. That's a good point. A standing stone, a wall, is non-conductive. A capstone is conductive.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to...
That's a very good move.
Smash down your wall.
I'm going to put this here preventatively because you cannot smash a wall with a tower.
Right.
The capstone will have to leave the tower. So this is the equivalent of the supervisor leaving the tenement and now and smashing this, in which case I get control of all these. So I like making trouble for you to where the only way you can smash that wall is by moving your capstone off of that tower.
Right. The way I have thought of it in the past, now that I'm thinking about it, is exactly after your metaphor, these are all the tenants of the mega skyscrapers in Dread. These are the drug lords of Dread.
Okay, that works.
These are the judges.
Those are, okay, yeah.
Is it my turn or your turn?
That's an important thing that also gets forgotten from time to time. It is your turn.
It is my turn, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and break down that wall.
Okay. Okay, there are now 4 open spots here. The game ends in one of 2 conditions. Condition 1 is one player gets a road that connects the 2 sides, right? The other condition, there are 2 flavors. One is the moment all the spaces get covered, flash bulbs. It's it. Photo finish. That's the end. The other variation is whenever the last tile gets played. If somebody's out of tiles, because your only options every turn are you either place or move, and you have nothing to place, the game is over. So it's a photo finish whenever the spots are filled, all of them, or all the tiles are gone, at which point it's straight up a real estate play. You count out how many exposed road tiles one player has versus the number of exposed road tiles the other player has.
Yep.
So at this point, I'm gonna be sneaky and I'm gonna keep putting out tiles because I secretly am playing a real estate game, hoping you're not gonna notice that I'm about to run out of tiles. So now, if I go here, you have, as I think of it, you have the knife. You can end the game whenever, if you want to place there. In which case you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be a tie. That'd be kind of boring.
And that's not what I'm doing. I'm planning on doing this.
Okay. At which point, I will threaten to take this.
Oh, you devil.
And now it starts to get interesting. Okay. And?
Oh, I'm sorry, tack.
There we go. Excellent.
Tack.
Tack. And it's pretty bad.
Ooh.
It's pretty bad.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think we just had one of those moments where we got surprised.
Oh, dear.
So, okay, at this point, in a good game of courtly tack, we both try to solve for how you can not get crushed right now.
So, I could put a wall up, but of course, if I did that, then
it's game over.
Game over, yeah.
At which point, it would be, well, I guess that would be a tie.
Which is remarkably unsatisfying.
Yeah, although I must confess, there is wiggle room for house rules. I've never played that the game ends when all the spots are covered. I've only played that it's running out of tiles.
Right.
And there's another house rule that has kind of come into favor, which is there is a first mover advantage, statistically speaking. A first mover in a 5x5 game is, I think, 54% likely to win. I may get these numbers wrong, but like in an 8x8 game, it drops to a 51%. So there's adjustments that can be made.
So could I make a tower on my own piece?
You can.
And that frees up an extra space.
And puts me in.
And puts you in.
Well, unfortunately, you're still donezo.
Oh, I am still donezo. So the only thing I could really do is put a wall there.
You could put a wall there, or you know what? You could move
and then
keep the game going.
But then you would
that
take
doesn't
me,
block.
and that puts you in tack.
Although you could do this, or don't forget, you could do this.
Oh, you're right.
Remember, it's a lightning bolt, and all you have to do is break that chain anywhere.
I'm going to do that because that puts you in tack.
Yes. So, okay, great. So now I cannot complete my fantasy over here. I have to do something about this. So I'll do this.
And I was worried about you doing that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put down a road piece right here.
Okay. No. Yes. Tack. Nope. Wait. Yes.
So I've done that. You can put down your piece, and that's gonna end the game.
Yeah, that would be a
Tie.
tie, which I don't want to do. So I will.
Oh, very entertaining.
Eventually, the game becomes an extraordinary level of Mexican standoff. Just so many threats coming from all directions, and it eventually gets multi-dimensional. So towers can be infinitely tall, but when you want to move a tower, your limit of pieces you can grab off the top is the number of the count of the game. Like 5 by 5,
right.
You can at most grab 5. You can't grab 20 and move it.
Right.
By the way, apologies to everybody who's excellent at playing TAC for the poor TAC that we're playing. But
No. I'm hanging out with my buddy Brian, and we're playing an engaging game, and that's what I'm trying to go for. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put that there.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. So I'd probably, you know what, I'll just move. This is a lot of potential energy, and the more potential energy is there, the more kind of trapped my capstone gets. Because I'm not, well, although in this case, at least it's blocked off by that.
So you move this tower, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm going to put you in TAC.
Yes, okay. So.
Okay.
Oh, wait. And that's game.
And that is game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh. Well played, good sir. Good. All right, now we'll play a real game of 5 by 5, actually trying to defeat each other. Oh, I also get to show one of my other favorite things is, as a courtesy thing, you could decide randomly who goes first, but I rather like this rule that Pat showed me, which is you go for the other player.
Ah, so, I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna place you.
And I'm gonna place you right there.
Okay, and then I guess I'll keep going.
Yeah, go ahead. TAC. Sorry, do you mind if I?
Oh, no, that's fine. No, of course, if you feel you need to.
I do. Yeah.
I like doing stuff like this because I'm fishing with stinky bait. This doesn't do much for me right now outside of annoy you, because at any moment I can take, but for you to move your tower over is not, to my eyes, a very strategically good thing.
Right.
So I'm also goading you. I'm giving you all this tasty bait because I want you to waste your time in kinetic energy, gobbling up towers that I'm just going to turn around and take back eventually, while I'm unleashing potential energy all over the place.
Oh, there's so much potential energy in here. We're gentlemen. The gentleman comments on the potential energy. The scoundrel laughs.
Yeah. Oh, that felt good, because now I'm getting dangerously close over here, and this is walled off.
Oh, the capstone enters the game. I think mine is going to parry yours over here, or mirror, I should say. Parrot yours. My dear Brian Brushwood, you are in TAC.
Ah, so I am. So you have to leave your perch to get him.
Actually, you're still in tack.
Oh, shoot, Dongle. I think you may have won the game. No. Almost always. In fact, it is you, sir, who are in tack.
Oh dear. Dear.
Yeah, it's so easy to get hyper-focused and think you're screwed, because I was already looking at the forked ending that you have there. I'm like, oh no, the end of the lightning bolt, chop it off at the beginning. Still doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, you may be in, no. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, yep. Nope. That still wins it.
Oh, it does still win it.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
I think your only move is
to...
Or it might be better to put it... And then I have to yield that spot.
Yes.
Which... Oh, here we go. Tack. Keep in mind, you control this tower, and it's non-conductive. Now that won't even help, because if you did take this, I could still place there.
Oh, I'm in tack here, right? Is that where I'm in tack?
You are in tack if I place here.
Or if you place here.
How so? Oh, that's great!
So, if I move the tower to here, that interrupts this tack. Do you mind if I put that there just so I can visualize it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just remember it's
one to the left.
Yeah.
My left. Okay, so that interrupts your tack going this way.
I think.
And interrupts your tack going that way.
And it buys you a move, basically, but it puts you in control so that you can gobble up even more a different way. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Tack.
Right there. Oh, and right there, though.
Oh. No, I don't think that buys me anything.
Yeah, it does. If you put a piece there, you go bump, bump,
oh,
bump, bump, bump.
You're right.
That one may not be solvable for me, because I could put a wall here, and if you took that, of course, you'd have to yield your tack to me there.
You could do this. And that would buy you a turn.
Yeah, that would buy me a turn. If you wouldn't mind leaving it there.
You could still go there.
Oh, you still could go there.
You could cut off that topmost connection with...
This is organically what is happening is one of my favorite things about tack is somebody overhears the rules. One time there's a teenager who was a fan who was like watching and really drawn in. Their parents, who for all the world looked like they could give two figs leaves about this, suddenly somebody makes a move and then from 3 tables over I hear his mom go, but that would put him in tack. It's awesome.
Normally I wouldn't ask, but Nathan, darling, what did you say to do?
If you move on to this, I think that cuts off both for at least one turn, because that's the common endpoint for both paths.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good logic point,
No,
right?
because there's a line right here. You're in a 2-area tack. Like,
Oh, so I'm in
Sounds like you're in quite a pickle, my friend.
I am in quite a pickle. How about I take the tower with that piece? I'm gonna do that.
Tack. Tack. You just move that over there.
I see that move.
Or this guy over here.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of...
And then if this guy's here, you could propulse yourself to unlock that tower, and then you can leave that tower. Nah, that's if you live that long. If your capstone goes here, that's the, then I can't build my way out of it. And now you are 1 away from a credible tack.
Yes.
Now it just got interesting again.
So that was, I think, a good illustration of, like, you could have taken me a few different ways, but that was a great example of, like, the game would be much more interesting if I don't do that. Ah, you still did a dick move, though.
The scoundrel's part of it.
Okay. Really? Roma
This time of
Borealis.
year. Okay. Tack. Okay. Tack. feel like it's getting close now. Tack.
No, that's just a straight up win.
Oh, no, it's not.
It is.
Oh, wait, north, south. Ah! Dude, that was fantastic. High five. Dude, thank you so much to Patrick Rothfuss for teaching me this game and for this set that he gave me, one of my most precious gifts. It breaks my heart that I'm missing a tile. But also thanks to James Ernest for this treasure. The
Yeah.
world is a richer place.
In the immortal words of Brian Brushwood, that you said to me when we first played with Tack, it's a very good game.
All right, who wants to play? The table is yours. I retire. Say you got a dusty old rusty skull. What are you gonna do with that rusty dusty skull? Don't be a musty crusty old dusty fusty. Make sure your skull is trusty. That'll be the slogan of your new website that you'll make at Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com. They have beautiful, elegant designs. They got award-winning designs. Even better, they got all the data of all the best websites so that their robots can build your website beautiful. Look, you know you have an incredible idea that belongs out there in the universe. Let that idea out of your skull and into the universe thanks to our friends over at Squarespace. Optimized for mobile, you name it. They got distributed hosting so that you can become an overnight sensation. Oh, that's a bug. You know, I started in this biz nearly 20 years ago, and Squarespace was there. I trust them, and you should too. If you've got an idea, don't just sit on it. Go out there, make it happen. Head on over to squarespace.com/rogue. Give it a try. When you fall in love, make sure to use that promo code ROGUE at checkout. You'll get 10% off. We'll get credit, and you can get back to whatever weird thing you're doing. That bug really wants to just. All right, just gonna Squarespace. No!
This video was supported in part by viewers like you at patreon.com/modernrogue, where soon we'll post the unedited version of this video. And you'll get to see just how often I accidentally stepped into frame and had to hide in the edit.
You've talked about how on your watch you want to have a Pip-Boy graphic, right, from Fallout? Mm-hmm. And what's really annoying is that the new graphic says, this is from Fallout.
Right.
Right? To me, you know, and that of course is like, you know, I want to feel like I'm part of the universe. I don't want to feel like I'm contributing to buying the universe, right?
Right.
Gentleman's tack or courtly tack, that feels to me like
You're living in the universe.
Right, right. And to just, you know, the street tack, whatever you want to call that, that's real fun, but you're just playing by the rules. You're not playing within the world of the game.
Yes.
Right?